Hi, I just wanted to show you this tool, which is new to us anyway, and it's an absolutely genius idea. Basically, it's one platform and you can access every GPT that is out there. So let me just show you what they've got. They've got all of these models, every single one of them you can access through one interface. Now, we're doing quite a lot of work using various models, and the ones we're doubling down on, obviously, we will go direct because having read the documentation, there is like a 20% over and above what the model cost is that goes to OpenRouter, which is fair enough, I think. Yeah, so it just allows you to very quickly access any model that you like. And what is really cool is if you look at these rankings, you can also see where people are going for certain things because not all are created equal. They might end up converging, but who knows? In health, it's different to, for example, in legal, which is again different to the leaderboard in terms of programming, and you get the idea. So I've been looking at this and I find it very useful to keep on top of and just get an idea of perhaps where we should be implementing different models. And again, it becomes a bit like chasing your tail if you're constantly spinning out different models, but it does become useful to try it. So what I'm going to show you next is, because I've $10 into credits here. So just to see how all of this works, I have set it up in make.com. I've used variables, and at the bottom, I've posted one of our longer blogs. And then in the connection, I've basically given these assistant instructions. This is more to show how quickly you can swap models in and out. So the assistant is trained to do this. The content being passed is the body text in the variable, and then we're using DeepSeek. And just run this and pause it because this is a bit like watching paint dry. So now we've got the result, and it's a pretty good summary. And we can, if we like, just at the click of a button, change it. Let's see what Gemini does. And while it's doing that, I think one of the other things that we can have a very good look at is, for this particular use case, we may want to be looking at marketing. It says, okay, Gemini Flash is one of the top ones, and then Claude. And here is Gemini's response. It's very familiar to us, actually. We use Gemini a lot, so it always puts this sort of thing at the bottom and gives you an executive summary. Anyway, while it's doing that, you can already see that this is like a super way of just testing how different models behave for different use cases, hot swapping things in and out. The OpenRouter promises that you can actually set limits, and you can also put your own API keys into OpenRouter, so it'll use those before you use the OpenRouter credits. Basically, it's super impressive. It's really, I can see how it'll be really useful. For example, we've never used Llama, and to be honest, actually, for this use case, most of them are going to do a decent job because LLMs are good at getting patterns. So I wouldn't expect anything to be very different. But the main thing I was interested in is actually how easy is it to swap these things out. Okay, that worked. So yeah, you can see how this would be a very useful tool to have in your armory when you're running automation, checking the correct application or how different LLMs behave in different scenarios, because they're not all equal. In this example, they are, but for certain things, we definitely prefer Claude, for example, over Gemini in certain instances and OpenAI's model in other instances. And that just comes with time and experience. But with this, you've got the entire LLM universe at your fingertips. I think this is really helpful. It's a very neat platform to allow you to build various different models into your AI workflows.